All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. The band is back reunited. Jon and Jim.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do something I very rarely do.
What?
I mean, extremely rarely do. I'm going to thank you.
What?
And I'm going to thank Brent. I thank Brent because Brent does some really good work behind the scenes. Aztecs, Jon and Jim.
Me?
So that goes without saying for Brent. But with you, it actually does go with saying because we never say it. So in some way, Jim was able to do 5 radio shows, a handful of wrap-up shows on YouTube as well, because the Padres have been playing, obviously. And the world is still like turning, and we still work here. My badge still works. Right. Jon and Jim is still going. How did this happen?
The show didn't get canceled.
Right.
Nobody's fired.
No FCC issues.
Right. We are still a thing.
What did you do? Read the phone book? Do nursery rhymes?
There was a point where maybe I thought about it, like, what should I do here? But no, it was hosting a solo show at times is a little difficult.
It's right.
It's a little difficult.
Let's tell our listeners how hard it is to have to work for 15 hours in a week. It is so hard.
But here's the thing. I
thought it generally sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck.
Yeah, that's what you missed last week.
Yeah, that was the theme of last week. No, it was good. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
do you want me to go back away?
No, I don't, because I feel like the show is called Jon and Jim, so it'd be nice if Jon and Jim were on the radio. But no, you deserve a week off. You never have a vacation. Mr. Aztec, voice of the Aztecs now for the football team. You deserved it, so it's fine. And plus, when I'm doing my wedding and gone on my long honeymoon to Switzerland, then you got me, buddy.
I'm going to kill you when you're gone.
I know.
First of all, this is the same guy. This is the same guy that earlier today we were joking about during the Fusion says, why is Manny Machado out of the lineup? He's having a child. Okay, just like you're going to Switzerland for a honeymoon. Now, Manny's taking the entire 4-game series off, as you said in the update. But he's having a child. But before we move on, and there's so much to get into, Padres in Denver, Manny Machado is off for the series because of the birth of his first child, which is incredible news, obviously. We have Aztecs spring game to discuss, the Nick Boyd transfer portal news that Jim just talked about as well. I do want to thank everyone that's reached out over the last 3 or 4 days. Since the news became official that I'm calling San Diego State football beginning in 2024, I'm thrilled for the opportunity. I truly am. Everyone that's reached out, not just San Diego State fans. I mean, San Diegans and sports fans and people that listen to us and watch the wrap-up show and the DMs and the tweets and the texts and the calls. Truly, thank you. Like we say with Jon and Jim, we wouldn't be able to do this every day without your support. Like, this is a two-way street. It's not just us doing a show. There is no show without you. Same thing with these Aztecs broadcasts coming up. And taking over for Ted is quite an honor. It really is. So, and I'm not Ted. I'm never going to be Ted Leitner, but I'm excited for the opportunity. Can't wait to get underway later this fall. And as I said to you, maybe last week, the fact that I was able to do it in spite of our show maybe makes it even more impressive, Jim.
The congratulatory text is
did you text me?
I don't think I did text you.
No, I don't think I got a text.
I don't think I text you at all.
No,
I might have said something I might have said something on Twitter, but
no, I think you did.
I think it was more of a like I should put something out there.
Oh yeah, you put a photo of me sleeping on a couch in an Aztecs polo and said here's the new voice of San Diego State.
Sleeping on our casting couch. It's perfect.
Right.
With wearing an Aztec polo. I was like, here you go, everybody. Here is a candid photo of the new voice of Aztecs football, Jon Schaefer.
I appreciate that.
On the casting couch.
I appreciate
that. I don't know if you know what that is.
Well, I think
you might.
It's a couch that you use prior to casting.
Some would say yes.
We have 3 giveaways today, 1 for each hour. We'll tell you about them. Do not go anywhere. It is a great show lined up for you today. John Fanta is as good of a voice as there is in the country on college basketball. We'll get into the Nick Boyd transfer portal news that happened this weekend with John Fanta at 5 p.m. Kyle Newman, Denver Post, Padres, Rockies. We knew the Rockies would be bad. Did we know they'd be this bad?
Well,
5-17. They have trailed in all 22 of the games they've played this year.
Well,
Kyle Newman will join us coming up at 4:30. Let's start with this. Let's start with Manny for a second, because obviously that is wonderful news.
Great news.
And we knew this was happening. The expectation was April, and here it is. His wife is having Their first child.
Everything, the same thing that happened with Scotty Scheffler during the Masters. He said, if I get a call and you're not allowed to bring your phones on the course at Augusta.
Would someone have made him aware, obviously?
But his caddy was able to bring a phone with him just in case he got a call during his round. And he said that look, I don't care if I'm leading by 10 strokes.
I'm going to leave.
If I get a call, I'm withdrawing, I'm leaving to go to see the birth of my first child.
You only have one of those.
You know what I mean? Hence the first child thing. Here.
I only have one child.
Are you only going to have one child?
And I'm only having one child.
Jones is
I
enough.
can assure you of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we'd have one, but again, you can't miss that. It's one of those things. And haven't we had these conversations over the years? These ridiculously stupid sports radio conversations like, you're going to miss game 7 of the NBA Finals because stop. They're people like you and I. We put them on pedestals and they're on display and they're on television. It's the Rockies series.
Right.
No one cares.
In April.
Now, with all that being said, it's a must-win series. But with all that being said, Rockies are 5-17. You don't have Manny Machado. The Padres, we talked about this last night, Jim, on the wrap-up show. They've been fine, even arguably better than that. They're 12-12. It's an average record. No one has run away with the division. No one, including the Dodgers. You have an opportunity and a good one because the Rockies have been that bad. They're 5-17. The Padres need to go to Denver and take care of business, no matter how they have to do it. And they got to do it without Manny Machado, it appears, for the next 4 games.
So you and Darren were killing me for simply saying on my Twitter here.
Don't delete that.
I'm not deleting it. Okay. Because I don't know why should I. But I go, Manny off day being a DH in Colorado, ? Implying I didn't have any clue of Yanni going into labor. I had no clue that this was a paternity leave situation. Sorry, because the first 7 people that responded to me under there, besides you, jackass.
What'd I say?
He said, have some sympathy. He's having a child.
I thought you saw it because I saw something this morning that said Manny's about to go on paternity.
I did not see it. And then the Padres made the official roster announcement.
But that was after we saw the lineup. Right. We saw a lineup and then the Padres tweeted. And in that time, you said, where's Manny?
Correct. And then I then said, okay, that's officially why.
How many controversies do you need to start?
Dude, you missed
There was the standing ovation for Xander.
Happening?
I know you didn't start it.
Was not my idea. Was not my idea.
Remember this with Jim.
We just took the heat for that one.
I know. Remember this with Jim. None of it is his idea. Okay. Just remember this with Jim. Now, again, you like to be in the.
If it was my idea.
Right, exactly. But okay, so the Padres are going to be without Manny Machado for the next 4 games. That can't be a reason why they don't have a good series, in my opinion. Would you agree with that? We're not going to look back at this series and say, well, they lost 3 of 4. And Coors Field's been a house of horrors over the years. Although I heard, what did I just hear? They've been really good against the Rockies.
They were 9-4 last year versus the Rockies.
And the second half of the year before, I forget the number. They're 15-6 in the last 21.
Okay.
So that's the expectation for me. And I know it's April and I know it's not the end all be all, but can you win 3 of 4? Can we just get past this series with the Padres winning 3 of 4?
Well, when you are playing a team that in every single game this year, 22 of them that the Rockies have played, they have trailed
that's amazing.
Every single game this year.
That's amazing.
So Padres, you're up. And we look at last year. They actually played well against the Rockies.
They really did.
But they played horribly versus the other bad teams that they played. The Royals, the Nationals, the Pirates. If this team expects to make the postseason this year, you're going to have to play good against the bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
You just are. And it starts with the Rockies tonight. I am declaring this at worst.
Oh, let me hear it.
At worst, you take 2 of 4. At worst, you split. At worst, anything that other than that, it's a problem. Even I could argue that splitting the series is a bad thing.
Yeah, are you going to come on the air on Friday if they split the series and be like, that's fine?
No, I won't actually. You're right.
That's my thought. With 4, you got to get 3.
You're right.
Like that. And again, in any one series, anything can happen, even a 5-17 team. I think the Dodgers last year lost 2 series to the Pirates. In any one series, any one thing can happen, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you. I think that, again, it's not determining the season. We say this all the time. If they go 2-2 in this 4-game stretch, I'll say missed opportunity, I think, because you could leave Denver 2 games over 500 in a division where nobody's played well. None of the teams. There's no way Dodger fans are saying their team has played well. There's no way Diamondback fans are saying their team has played well. We know about the Giants. Mm-hmm. They haven't been awful, but it hasn't been good. And the Rockies have just been flat out horrific. So knowing all that, if you can leave Denver 2 games over 500, pushing the end of April, coming back home for a 6-game homestand, I think everyone would be thrilled with where they are.
All right, you're right. I'm an idiot. They have to win 3 or 4.
Right? It's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah, it's just if this team's expected to go where they want to go, you can't be losing series to some of the worst teams in baseball. You got to take advantage of that. Everyone else is taking advantage of it. Look at the Guardians this year, John.
Okay. I like this.
They're, I believe, 16-6 on the season,
and they've done their damage against the A's,
the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get into the postseason. You beat up on the bad teams, and you play, toe to toe with everybody else. And so that is why this series, starting tonight, 5:40, is important for this team. Now it's going to be a little harder because you're without Manny Machado in Colorado, but you still have enough to beat the Rockies here. You just do. And it's always going to be one of those. It's always in Colorado, just a crazy series, crazy games, especially between these two teams. I think the Rockies haven't hit a home run in like forever. But
nice Jenks. They'll hit 6 tonight. What's the? I'll put 5.5 as the over under. Play that. Mark that.
Oh no.
Mark that. The Rockies haven't hit a home run in forever, is what he says before Game 1 at Coors Field. It will take either 1 or 2 batters for them to hit a 494-foot home run.
Are you going to tweet how?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my, no.
I will after they hit a home run.
Oh,
you're such an idiot.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know what I was saying.
I don't know what you were saying either. Here's what I want to do. By the way, we're giving away. Here's a good. It's a transition. How about this for a transition?
Oh, give me a transition.
This hour, we're giving away New Kids on the Block tickets with Paula Abdul.
Wow, look at that! What a transition you got there.
We'll
buddy.
do that coming up in the at 3:30. So we got New Kids on the Block tickets with Paula Abdul. We'll give those away coming up around 3:30. Kyle Newman, Denver Post, gets us ready for the series at 4:30. John Fanta, great college basketball voice, will join us at 5 p.m. Let's switch gears. I returned Friday night and saw Jim Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. We were there for the Aztec Fast Showcase under first-year head coach Sean Lewis. I mean, it just feels different, which is just how of course, you'd expect it to feel. It's a whole new coaching staff. It's a whole new system. A
whole new world.
Everything's different. And that's with all due respect to Brady and Rocky. It's just different. When you had Brady and Rocky, they were similar systems. They had coached underneath each other and vice versa. Sean Lewis is an offensive innovator. It's a completely different look and feel. Jim, we were there for the showcase. This I know. I don't know what their record's going to be. I don't know if they'll have, they'll be setting records in NCAA Division I football. But I do know this. They're going to be playing with a tempo that has never been seen before at San Diego State on offense. Never. That tempo that they played with on Saturday, getting to the line of scrimmage, not huddling, and snapping the football aggressively within like 15 seconds is something no Aztec fan has ever seen in the history of the program.
I honestly think Sean Lewis might have viewed that as kind of slow.
He did because he said it. He did.
Look, just when you think offenses, think I don't know, the greatest show on turf, 99 Rams.
Okay, is that where you're going off the showcase?
No, I am not going there off the showcase. But I did tweet that out because I stayed and you were on the field and I went to the press box because I'm soft and I wanted to sit down and have something to eat. Great Hodad's burger, by the way. Amazing Hodad's burger.
Oh, is that what you had?
Yeah, it's very good. Anyway, first couple series, AJ Duffy was the starter out there for the first series.
So he's the Florida State transfer. From Southern California.
Correct. And I tweeted out, I'm like, the first impression of this offense is it's going to be fast. Because you're right. You get a playoff, you immediately get to the line of scrimmage, you immediately get another playoff. And like I said, I think Sean Lewis, actually, he did say that. You're right.
Yeah.
Said that they weren't as fast as he wanted them to be. But you see how this team and this offense, especially, could rack up a ton of yards with how they play. Because it's like, get the ball out quickly to your receivers. And that's what they did. And eventually they took shots down the field And it's a lot of, spread offense, like zone read runs. You're going to see pretty much primarily their entirety of their offense in shotgun. And I think if you're an Aztecs fan just watching on Saturday, it's obviously not even close to a finished product. I think he mentioned that they just got on the interstate and they're like, as far as like the fast analogies go, like they're just starting out around
so
like
the
accelerating part of it. And you can see the groundwork being laid for this team to eventually, hopefully by the end of this year and then into next year, when you get a better grasp on this offense with the players they have, it's going to be fun to watch.
AJ Duffy, this Florida State transfer, 7 for 11, 112 yards and a 36-yard touchdown pass. Danny O'Neal was the highly touted high school recruit we talked a lot about this winter out of Indianapolis. And it appears as if now Sean Lewis, Danny O'Neal. Sean Lewis has not announced the starting quarterback and won't in all likelihood until fall camp. But it sounded as if it would be O'Neal, Duffy as front runners. But you're feeling Duffy because of the college experience. I mean, he's got 2 years. It's hard. And I don't know. Maybe Danny O'Neal can do it. I have no idea. But you would think it's hard from high school to college as a true freshman. There's examples of guys that do it and have success, but that's got to be hard to do.
After just the brief, couple series that I saw on Saturday, and that's just a couple series, so things can obviously change. But I would, at this point, be pretty surprised if AJ Duffy is not this team starter quarterback come August. It just now remind me of the quarterback depth again. If I know,
they have a couple of returns. Kyle Crum, they do like Javance Johnson played very well. I thought 6. Saturday, yes.
So the quarterbacks went Duffy, Johnson, O'Neal, Crum.
In terms of
who was out there in the order of which we saw them. And Duffy obviously got the most work. So to me, that signals that Duffy's the leader in the clubhouse. And he looks good. He looked the part. He's a guy that can throw it downfield, took a couple shots, threw a couple touchdowns, got the ball out quick. And we know Sean Lewis, he's looking for accuracy and getting the ball out quick and making the right reads. And that's what Duffy did on Saturday. It's not a finished product, but it looks
yes, it is. This thing's done. They're fine.
Done?
Everything's done. 12-0
Rose Bowl?
No question. The other thing we were talking about from a San Diego State perspective that Jim talked about in the update, this is an amazing story that for me only plays out really in college basketball. With the movement of basketball, there's tons in football too. But go back 13 months. No, not even. It was April of last year, 12 months. And Lamont Butler with the most famous moment in San Diego State athletics history, arguably one of the biggest moments in the history of San Diego sports. We all know it. Over FAU. Great. Nobody thinks about it from the other side of the coin here locally. Nobody's thinking about what it was like to be on FAU when they got beat. Nobody ever recalls who was guarding Lamont Butler when he hit that shot. Not here locally. It was a guard by the name of Nick Boyd that was guarding Butler in that frantic final moments before Butler pulled up and hit that shot to send the Aztecs to their first ever national championship game. Would you know it? Only in college basketball, with the transfer portal and the way things are right now, that player, Nick Boyd, a 6'3" guard that has hit 40% of his threes his first 2 years in college, has transferred to San Diego State. That's an amazing story to me, that in the frame photo I have, the Butler at the buzzer photo signed by Lamont, that benefits the Aztec Link Collective.
ButlerTheBuzzer.com.
Exactly. I think they still have maybe a few remaining. I'm not even sure if they do. In that photo, I showed my wife this weekend, is both Lamont Butler and who's guarding him? Nick Boyd. And who's joining the Mesa and San Diego State next season? Nick Boyd. That's an incredible story.
And you could have something special here if Lamont returns.
No doubt.
If I'm Nick Boyd, I never want to see that picture ever, just because that probably, I wouldn't say is one of the most like the low points of his young career so far.
No, but this is the Final Four, right?
You're in the Final Four, and I think he played really well that game. He had 4 threes in that game, I think.
He did 3 in the first half, and he was the reason why they won their first game. He had a shot with 2 seconds left against Memphis, down 1.
But I know if that were me, that would be such a like bitter moment to just keep reliving it over and over and over again. So if I'm him, I know they have that picture up probably everywhere around San Diego State, the offices for this basketball team, but I'm maybe asking Dutch if we can maybe blur me out of that photo so I don't have to see it this upcoming season.
Because kind of a credit
I wouldn't want to see that if I were him.
Isn't that a credit to him? Like you took part of that game and you were on the losing side of it, You go to the program that beat you in heartbreaking fashion a year later. That's amazing to me. There was a quote he said immediately post-game after that Final Four game. I'm trying to find it because I tweeted it out.
Like he's going to be, I mean, that shot's one of the most iconic shots in Final Four history, and he's going to be forever on the wrong side of that when they show it for the next 50 plus years on, NCAA tournament coverage.
100%. He said afterwards, that night to the media, all I can do is smile and be appreciative of the run that we went on. And by the way, it was very complimentary of Lamont Butler. He said, by the way, I'm pretty sure he puts his work in the gym too, is what he said in the locker room that night. So we should mention, did we mention Micah Parrish last week or not, Jim? When was that news official?
That was on Saturday. Yeah.
Micah Parrish, I want to say this because I thought to some extent some people were unfair to Keyshawn Johnson. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But Keyshawn Johnson gave you 4 great years, and it's an Aztec for life and has a San Diego State degree. Micah Parrish is part of the two of the best teams in the history of the program and will graduate with a San Diego State degree. He's going to Ohio State. He should be celebrated. All these players should be celebrated. This is their right and opportunity. If you had an opportunity that you could take advantage of, you may do it. And we shouldn't fault people for taking advantages of opportunity. Micah Parrish should be celebrated for being a key member of 2 outstanding Aztec basketball teams.
There's zero animosity. There's zero ill will. Every player that was on this team the last 2 years, they've accomplished things that teams in this program have never accomplished. So to go and transfer any Aztec fan out there that's upset about it or has gone into his mentions on social media and trying to bash him for leaving. I mean, give me a break, grow up. It's, his decision. And by the way, without Micah Parrish, this team probably doesn't make 2 Sweet 16 runs in back-to-back years or a national championship game.
Completely agree.
So get over yourself if you're one of those people. I hope there's not that many people out there. I don't think there would be.
I agree with you.
Because I think Aztecs fans understand and know the situation about what Micah has accomplished here. And he had a heartfelt message to the fans on social media this past weekend as well. And so nothing but love for all of these players that were here the last 2 years and, helped accomplish things that this program's never accomplished before. And I just would hope that no one out there, regardless of decisions, like if Lamont leaves, if that's fine. If Reese Waters transfers, just that's the way of college basketball nowadays, and just get used to it.
Yeah, it's like, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, as the cliche or adage would say. By the way, Micah Parrish got a standing ovation at the men's basketball banquet last night, as did the seniors for San Diego State. All right, on the other side, what's the criteria for a good fan base?
Huh?
Do you know what the word criteria means? That's next on Jon and Jim.
What?
All right, what makes a good fan base? Plus, we've got new Kids on the Block tickets to give away coming up next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres start a 4-game series tonight in Colorado versus the Rockies. 5:40 first pitch there. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Padres are looking like they're going to be without Manny Machado for the entire series. They will officially be without him tonight as he has gone on paternity leave for his birth of his first child. Congratulations to him and his wife, Yanni. Other news with the Aztecs now, Nick Boyd. He is transferring to San Diego State from FAU. You might remember him being the player that was guarding Lamont Butler in the Final Four that Lamont hit the shot over in that game. He is now an Aztec. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
Whether you're stepping out of your car or settling in at home, just command your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or use the free iHeart Radio app for seamless listening. It's like having your favorite station right in your pocket. We have new Kids on the Block tickets we're going to give away in the next 10 minutes. We're talking about good fan bases. This much I know. The Padres have an amazing fan base. Like, that's inarguable. You can troll. But the Padres fan base is legitimately, it's beyond good.
There's a good amount of trolls out there.
But would you agree?
Overall,
I mean,
yeah.
If you're being unbiased, I don't care where you live, if you know baseball and you see what's transpired in San Diego, let's just use the last 5 years. I'm not saying 55 years. I'm saying look at what's happened post-Chargers, the investments the team has made, not necessarily the winning, but the way the fan base is bought in, right? You would agree. They're completely bought in to this team.
Peter made this team relevant.
Yes.
It's the word of the year so far, relevance.
Yes.
And the fans have appreciated that and have rewarded this franchise with showing up to the ballpark, selling out a lot of games. They'll probably, if they play well, They could look at a very, very large number of sellouts this year. I don't know if they're going to beat last year's number, but
it's going to be a big number.
But again, I mean, they sold out every game this weekend versus the Blue Jays. Okay. They'll sell out every game next weekend versus the Phillies.
They're having 40,000 for Wednesday, 2 o'clock starts, or whatever that Manny Machado bobblehead game was with 40,000 people.
Well, they're smart. They put all their bobbleheads and giveaways on weekdays.
But even without it, and you're right, but even without it, people are enamored with the Padres. They had 3.2 million fans last year, and they weren't good.
They are the team of San Diego, the professional sports team of San Diego.
I'm right. So they get the acclaim, and they have the interest. So Cameron Maybin, right?
I remember him.
Who played here. For whatever reason on social media, and a lot of people have already heard this, but to kind of surmise, he went to social media on Soto, talking about Soto with the Yankees, and said, this is the type of accountability and atmosphere a player of his caliber needs. Playing there, there's no time for BS effort that you saw at times in San Diego. There's an expectation as a player you respect because of how invested every single person in the city and the stadium is. You can feel that energy, and you can tell Soto loves it and is thriving. He then replied to someone that was like, you're an idiot. And he said, in San Diego, if you struggle, as a player, nobody's booing you, telling you, you're trash, you need to die, etc. That's what Cameron Maybin said. Nobody's booing you, telling you you're trash, you should die, etc. So that's the marker of a good fan base.
Death threats.
That they absolutely despise you and they want to make your life miserable in the stadium. But Padres fans are supportive, therefore they're not good fans. And that's why Juan Soto had moments that it doesn't make any sense, is what I'm saying.
Here's the thing.
He's playing better because he's fearing for his life.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing with Cameron Maybin. When he was playing here in San Diego, there were no expectations because those teams sucked.
Sure.
Now, was he here in 2010? I can't remember. It's been a long time.
Right.
I got here in 2010. Or I got here at the end of 2010.
And was the first thing you did look at the Padres roster?
No, it wasn't. Actually, it was not.
He was here. No.
Okay. When was he here?
2011.
2011. Okay. So the first year I got here, that team was not good.
Yeah. 4 years, 11 through 14.
So those teams sucked. All right.
Correct.
I don't know the records, but they never cracked 80. I don't even know if they cracked 75. So, yes, Cameron, you have played in both places. You played in San Diego and you played in New York. Here's the thing. You were playing in San Diego when there was no expectations, when the Chargers were still around, when the team was not really relevant as far as, in the sport goes. They had no superstar players on the team that I can think off the top of my head that, transcended the team like they have now with Tatis. So to compare, it's like kind of weird because you were here when the team was irrelevant and wasn't good. But now you're comparing two things that are completely different, apples and oranges. I guarantee you if Cameron Maybin was still playing, he was here today, and he went out there and was performing like Xander Bogaerts was performing, we would get on him, just like how we're getting on Xander Bogaerts right now. It's a completely different thing, and that's where I think he was going with it. And I know what you're talking about is like the fan base is good. The fan base is good. Yeah, the fan base is really good. But the fan base also gets on players if they're not performing.
But that's almost not the point. Let me explain, because I don't think to be a good fan base, you need to make their lives miserable in stadium when they're not performing. And I'm not saying you're a bad fan base if you do it either, but I would say there's multiple ways to skin a cat, which I hate as the same because I don't get it. But like, just because they boo in Philadelphia doesn't mean it's a better fan base than in San Diego. It doesn't mean it's worse.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there's multiple and by the way, some of it is cultural.
It is.
Like some of it is just, okay, so in New York, they boo. In Philadelphia, they boo. That's not the Yankees aren't 26-time champions because their fans boo.
No.
And the Padres haven't not won a World Series because their fans are more willing to put up with whatever than Yankees fans are and not boo. That's not the reason as to why the franchises have gone in the directions that they've gone. There's a zillion reasons as to why the franchises are who they are. But the idea that you're not a good fan base because somehow Padres fans would let Soto get away with things that Yankee fans would not is complete insanity. It's utter insanity, Jim.
No, it is. I agree with that. And when the day comes where this franchise wins a World Series, then the expectations for the franchise will be set at that. is win a World Series. Now, they've
Correct.
never done it. They've only been to, 2 World Series in their franchise history, 84 and 98. So it's a little different here from those standpoints. When you're in New York, the Yankees, it's kind of every year feels like World Series or bust.
100%.
And San Diego, last year to me was the closest that it's gotten here in a long time, maybe ever.
Heading into
a season where it felt like a World Series or bust type of season. And then everything went off the rails and it went right back to, well, we're comfortable in this spot because this team hasn't won anything ever. And so whenever this team and franchise wins a World Series, then the expectations will go up and every year will feel like, okay, that's where the bar's at, That's how it is in New York. It's not here like in San Diego, but by no means does it mean that this fan base isn't as good as New York fan base.
Yeah, I don't know. And he went on to say they booed Derek Jeter when he went 0 for 32. Come on, and that makes them better fans?
They're just different fans. Like, it. Philadelphia fans, New York fans, East Coast fans, they're just different. They are ruthless. Don't get me wrong. They are ruthless.
Right. And ruthlessness
but that doesn't mean anything as far as like the quality of a fan base goes.
Right. Like I'm putting it's going to sound biased, but you guys know me. I'm fairly critical of the Padres when they don't perform. I cannot be critical of the Padres fan base. I just can't because I've seen it firsthand. I've watched its growth since the Chargers, and I feel as if their fan base is right at the top. I really honestly do. I'm watching these Monday night games. They're down 3-0 in the 8th inning, and there's 42,000 people there, and it's April, and it's a school night. Turn on a game in Philadelphia. There's no one there. In April, you got the Sixers in the playoffs. You got people talking about mini camps.
What I will say, though, is that sometimes I feel like, for me especially, like last week, Brent, remember we went through it with the Xander Bogart stuff.
Right.
Oh, you're too positive. And then there's a lot of times where it'd be like, oh, you're too negative. I am more of a, you've said it, and I feel that way. I'm more of a, East Coast, like, get it done. What are we doing here?
Right. That's more your persona, even though you're from the West.
Exactly.
Right.
But there are some times that why the perception of some fans are, just be positive. Because every time I'm negative about something, that's what I get. Or when I'm positive, it's like, you're too positive. Like, there's a lot of wishy-washy type of feelings here sometimes. And I think that goes to how this team and franchise has never won a World Series before. So it's hard to have that bar set somewhere consistently all the time because no one has experienced what a World Series winner's like here.
Which ultimately, and I agree with what you're saying, but almost kind of proves our collective point, which is there's multiple ways to be a good fan base. You don't always have to be negative. You don't always have to be positive. But Padres fans show up. And again, there's a lot of fan bases in this sport, like 25 of them, that don't show up at the same level of consistency as Padres fans. Speaking of the Padres, win a pair of tickets, see New Kids on the Block with Paula Abdul. Call right now. Caller 7, they are yours. 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets, New Kids on the Block, Paula Abdul, Sunday, July 7th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Get the Magic Pack, 4 tickets for $89 plus fees at Ticketmaster.com. Magic Pack launches Wednesday, April 24th, 9 a.m. local through show day. By the way, guys, 1989, April 24th, that was declared New Kids on the Block Day in Massachusetts. So we're celebrating the 35th anniversary. What? Here in San Diego. Anyway, 877-767-4760. Is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. That's next. All right. Is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. That's next. $760 has chances for you to win bonus bucks. Yep, $1,000, Jim, every day this week. Listen for the keyword and enter it at sportssd.com. What if I gave you $1,000 every day this week?
That would go such a long way towards our wedding.
To cover like 0.0000001%.
I think Aaron would legitimately cry.
If I gave you $5,000,
Give me $5,000 right now, she would cry.
well, guess what?
You're not giving me $5,000.
You'll
You're
never know what I was going to say.
Could you imagine if someone came in this
Yeah.
room and that was the
Big check.
the big check guy? Congratulations, you have won $5,000.
See, I would hate to, like, if someone walked in right now, let's say they had a big check, those things we see like on field, and say, hey, Jon, Jim, Brent, here's $10,000. But it was just a big check and it wasn't real. Like, imagine playing a prank on someone with the big check, which is just a big check.
Yeah.
It's not real.
But
It's real. Happy Gilmore used those.
Oh, so yeah.
Oh,
so
so Happy Gilmore used it.
That's
I
weird.
remember.
Sounds like
He's
who's
like,
Happy
oh no, you'll
Gilmore?
get the check in the mail. It's like, no,
I
that
know.
guy got a check. Just give me one of those big ones. I don't care.
I know, the speed skating star. Kyle Newman,
You're
Denver
close.
Post,
Hockey.
will join us at 4:30. We'll talk about those thrilling Colorado Rockies who have trailed in all 22 games they've played this year. They'll open a 4-game series with the Padres at 5:40.
Hey, but 5 of those times it worked out.
For that conversation.
Right. And John Fanta, great college basketball voice, will join us at 5 p.m. on the edition of Nick Boyd on San Diego State Hoops. Will join us coming up at 5 p.m. But right now, let's get to this.
So I don't know if you knew this, John, but the NBA playoffs started this weekend.
I did know that.
Tonight, game 2, Lakers and Nuggets. You
right
can
here.
listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760, 7 p.m. tip-off, 6:45 pregame start. Of the 8 playoff series this weekend, so
the opening games,
East and West, there was only one game that was decided by single digits.
Pelicans Thunder.
The great Pelicans Thunder matchup. I can't wait to see the ratings on that thing.
Right.
It was a good game.
Yes, it was.
It was a great game.
It was a very good
If
game.
you're a basketball junkie,
Yep.
great game. But, I mean, for you, John, doesn't it feel like the NBA is a little underwhelming?
A little bit.
So is that good, Brent?
You're leaving a big question here for Brent. I don't know what you're asking. What good? That there weren't a lot of one-score games?
No exciting games in the NBA playoffs this weekend. Is that good?
It's no good. Are you kidding me?
It's both.
It's both.
Okay.
I like it. All right, let me give you my first one here for the day. Let's go back to the spring showcase. Aztec Fast, Snapdragon Stadium. We were there Saturday. Beautiful day. AJ Duffy.
Oh, boy. Spring stats.
7 for 11, 112 yards.
Ripping it.
And a touchdown. Florida State transfer out of Riverside here in Southern California. Is that good?
It is good.
He was very good.
He was on with Darren when you were gone last week.
Yes, I listened to it on
like
podcast.
his first answer, Darren's like, "So how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, just ripping it."
I love that. I
know
do.
it's like a great answer.
He says,
I love it.
He says shoot a lot.
Yeah, more like we're talking Phillip Rivers.
Okay,
amounts of
that's great.
shoot.
If he plays like Phillip Rivers, all is good.
Shoot. Xander Bogaerts. He had a big day yesterday for Xander Bogaerts. 2 hits, including that home run. Had to feel good to do that. He mentioned that mid at bat during his home run, he changed from a high leg kick to a toe tap. I don't know if he's going to continue to do the toe tap, but it worked yesterday. So 2 hits for Xander yesterday. Home run. Brent, is that good?
It is good.
Very good. Did you see this earlier today? There was actually some really good audio from the Yes Network. Aaron Boone was ejected because the fan behind him in the first row yelled at the umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt. Earlier, Wendelstedt had said, Boone, if you say one more thing, you're getting tossed. They have video of Boone saying nothing. Absolutely. His mouth isn't even open. And then he gets tossed because the umpire heard something from over the dugout in the first row. Is that good on the umpiring crew?
It's no good.
It was pretty pathetic. If you see this, it's pretty crazy.
Hunter Wendelstedt, after the game.
But did he apologize?
He said, Aaron Boone is the manager of the New York Yankees and is responsible for everything that happens in that dugout.
True.
I don't want to eject a ball player. We need to keep them in the game. That's what the fans pay to see. Yep. Aaron Boone runs the Yankees. He got ejected. He then went to say, apparently what he said was from a fan right above the dugout. This isn't my first ejection. It's in the entirety of my career, I have never ejected a player or manager for something a fan has said. I understand that's going to be part of the story or something like that because that's what Aaron was portraying. I heard something came from the far end of the dugout, had nothing to do with him, with the area, but he's the manager of the Yankees, so he's the one that had to go.
I don't buy that.
So he's a liar then.
He's a liar.
Aaron Boone's a liar.
He's not responsible for something at the end of the dugout and then you toss Boone.
I would not be surprised if at some point this year a player just goes Mike Schilt ballistic on an umpire.
I mean, Mike Schilt went ballistic.
And honestly, John, becomes physical. I would not bet against that.
I mean, the plate umpire's ball strikes has been as bad as it's ever been. And that's why
awful.
This is changing sooner, like immediately. You're going to see whatever it is. Robot umps is what we're calling it. It's in the minor leagues everywhere. It's coming sooner rather than later. It keeps getting worse.
Finally, Lakers, they've lost 9 straight playoff games to the Denver Nuggets. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's no good.
And then my final. That's not great. Who leads the Padres in OPS?
Jerkson Profar.
854. Is that good?
It's good.
Good for him.
He's your cleanup hitter tonight.
He is. Manny Machado is out. All right, hour 2, Jon and Jim. We've got Seals playoff tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. We have Kyle Newman from the Denver Post getting us ready for Padres Rockies at 4:30. And we have the wrap coming up next. Hour 2, Jon and Jim. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres take on the Rockies tonight for a 4-game series in Colorado. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. First pitch, 5:40 p.m. Other news with the Padres, Manny Machado will likely miss the entire Rockies series because he's going on paternity leave for the birth of his first child. Aztecs news over the weekend, Nick Boyd, guard from FAU. You might remember him as the player that Lamont Butler hit the shot over in the Final Four a couple years ago, has announced on his Instagram page that he will transfer to San Diego State for the upcoming basketball season. And NBA playoffs tonight continue with the Lakers and the Nuggets. Game 2 in Denver, Colorado. 7 p.m. tip-off time. 6:45 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We've got Seals playoff tickets to give away for Trainwreck Radio later this hour. A 4-pack of tickets, Seals lacrosse home playoff game, Saturday the 27th. That would be Saturday. Tickets and info at sealslax.com. We also have Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. Imagine that opportunity, covering the Rockies this year.
Yeah,
all the excitement, all the energy.
Opportunity, or
how would you describe it?
It is a job. It's getting paid.
I guess you get paid to do it. They're 5-17.
I don't think anyone wants to do that for free.
Yeah, I haven't done the deep dive yet. I know they've had some injuries. I know Kyle Freeland was pretty good starting pitchers on the IL, but
I don't think the Rockies wrap-up show is doing much these days.
Probably not.
No.
Remember a year ago, their owner was like, "Hey, we think we can win 80 games." Like, well, is that good?
Chris Bryant turned.
Yeah,
into
we
one of the
found
worst
out that
contracts
wasn't
ever.
sustainable.
Right now, they're not winning 80 and 5-17. There's no 80-win season in the NL West for the Colorado Rockies. They might not win 60.
Are they win 60 games?
I don't know. Probably not. Maybe.
Like the A's are better than them.
Right now, they have a better record. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have won 9 wins on the season. Rockies have 5.
Yeah. By the way, Aaron Boone.
What about him?
Has followed up after this A's-Yankees game. Who won that game? Did the A's win?
The A's shut out the Yankees 2-0.
So Aaron Boone post-game called it the ejection from Hunter Wendelstedt embarrassing. It's not right, and he'll contact Major League Baseball about it.
Well, here's the thing. Nothing will happen to Wendelstedt.
No, there's a union.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
They are immune from any type of discipline. They can go out there and do whatever the hell they want. If they deem that a player's looking at them wrong, they can eject them from the game. If a player turns back and says something that, burns the ears of the umpire, oh, heaven forbid, he said a bad word to me, he can change the outcome of a game, he being the umpires. It's a joke for the sport. It literally, I was watching over the weekend, Pitching Ninja posted a video of the first pitch. I think you might have saw this. First pitch of a Kansas City Royals game.
I did.
Right down the middle.
Yep.
Called the ball. It's a joke what these umpires are allowed to get away with.
The amazing thing is we've actually seen a huge drop in ejections in baseball since replay, but it hasn't impacted balls and strikes.
No.
Right? We've seen fewer ejections on plays that are now reviewable, but we're not seeing fewer. The plate umpiring, I don't know if you can quantify it. Seems like it's as bad as ever. Let's go to Saturday. Profar's rung up on a pitch that is not a strike. He's later ejected for his reaction. You could argue if he should have been or shouldn't have been. To your point about where we're going with managers and players and how furious they're getting with umpires. And now I don't know the full mannerisms of Schilt yet. It's only been 24 games. But to say he wasn't thrilled is putting it really mildly.
He was very upset.
He went ballistic.
Yeah.
Absolutely ballistic on Saturday. And you may argue that that's a good thing, defending his player in that situation. But to your point, I don't know how this gets solved other than them just making it all automated.
The Profar thing on Saturday, I think it was a soft ejection. I really do, because it's the first inning. I mean, if you're going to eject a guy for standing there, not saying a word, looking
bat
away at you and throwing his bat down and his helmet down, you're soft, in my opinion, as an umpire. It's a joke how soft these guys are for every little thing that happens. It's understandable if, a player MFs you to the sun, right?
Sure.
But when a player's not
kind of walking
away, that's such a coward move to eject somebody when they're walking away from you. Like, give me a break. Tell me you're soft without telling me you're soft. When you eject a guy that walks away from you, it happens it happens in basketball. It happens in Major League Baseball a lot. Maybe more so basketball. The refs there, they have very soft ejections as well sometimes, but more so in baseball, how when they F up, there's no accountability for it whatsoever. And it's a joke for the game and it's embarrassing.
Well, here's the one thing I would say. Like, is there any part of you that enjoys the fact that the strike zone is dependent on the umpire? I'll give you an example. Not bad umpire, not horrific umpire.
No, I hate that.
Not Angel Hernandez. But one umpire may give both pitchers the inside strike, but they're giving it to both pitchers. The next night, that umpire may not give that pitch to that day's starting pitchers. Or do you want it so defined like tennis, where they do the automatic replay, they show where the ball's placed on the court. If it's a millimeter off a line, it's out. If it's on the line, it's in. It's so defined that it's quantifiable. And that's what the future likely is. The ABS, automatic ball strikes system that's in the minor leagues, there are challenges to it, but it's happening in very quickened speed.
Yeah.
Like, that is a huge difference from what we're seeing, like what happened Saturday at Pro Far, where your pitch is 7 inches off the plate, you're called out, to millimeters will determine what is a ball and what is a strike, and it'll be universal across the game. Is that what we all want? Do we want it clearly defined moving forward, or do you want some subjectivity still in the sport with umpiring?
That's what I want. I want a strike to be a strike every day. I don't want today this pitch is going to be called a strike and then tomorrow it's not, and then the next day who knows? Because if you're a batter, how are you supposed to sit up there and be like, okay, that's a ball, but it wasn't yesterday? It's just it's so confusing to where just have it be a strike should be a strike and a ball should be a ball. It shouldn't be, for Angel Hernandez, that's a strike, and for Joe Smith, that's a ball. It's no, because you're just making everything subjective.
Here's what I want in sports, and we're never going to get it because it's hard to get it, but I want in sports things to not be up to the umpire's interpretation, like a check swing, like roughing the passer in NFL, like a pass interference. It's hard to say those things can be determined by just videos, and not be left to interpretation by an umpire. But the balls and strikes, they're up to interpretation, are they not? I mean, it's literally an up to interpretation every single pitch that it's thrown, because there's not a defined box there.
Need a chest depends on player.
And it depends on umpire.
It depends on stance.
And it depends on framing.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and even that's the difference though. Like tennis with a court, it's in or out,
there's
right?
lines. Yeah.
There's no lines in a strike zone, and it's dependent on the batter. If I'm 6'9", I have a larger strike zone than if I'm 5'9".
So if you can take away a part of the left up to interpretation in the game of baseball and make it better and more defined,
it's gonna be hard to do.
Then by all means do it. And that's where the strike zone comes in play.
With balls and strikes, yes. Check swing isn't even defined in the rule book.
No,
so you'll never
that to me
solve that.
Is such it's so hard, because there's been so many times in baseball where a guy checks the swing and it called for a check, but he clearly went. Right. And then the other way around.
Wasn't there a Game 5 Dodgers-Giants 107 win, 106 win, where the series ended
on a check swing,
on the wrong check swing?
And it wasn't a check swing, or it wasn't a swing. It was
exactly.
A check swing, yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the wrap in a moment. Kyle Newman, Denver Post at 4:30. Your chance to win Seals lacrosse playoff tickets later this hour. But right now, let's get to it.
What letter grade would you give the Padres through their first 24 games?
We did this last night on the wrap-up show, but we'll bring it back for Jon and Jim listeners and viewers on YouTube. I said I gave them a B. And for some, that might seem a little high, but because of their record, which is 12-12 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at some things that they're doing that I didn't expect them to have this good of an offense this year so far. I didn't expect Jerkson Profar to be doing what he's doing this year. I didn't expect Jackson Merrill to be doing what he's doing this year. Those were all like, man, that'd be great if those players could contribute and this team could score some runs, but it wasn't something I was sitting here at the beginning of the season expecting those things to happen. So because of that, and because the trend lines with this team that compared to last year, like all those trend lines are pointing upward, there are some things on this team that are disappointing for sure. But 12-12 right now, 24 games in with the schedule they've had, I'll take it. I'll give them a B.
I gave them a B- last night. I'll do the same today, which is better than their record. The record is playing average, which is a C, but I'm with you. I'll give you the higher grade based on trend lines. And the one thing for me is their offense. They're 6th in baseball in on-base percentage plus slugging percentage. They're 6th. It's very good, especially April, when traditionally with Petco, we could, the hitting gets better as you get into the summer months. They've hit the ball well, and they've been resilient. They've got multiple good come from behind wins, including an 8-0 come from behind win that came out of absolutely nowhere and you could never expect. So I'm all for the B letter grade, and maybe it gets improved if they have a good series against the Rockies. Next question.
Who will be the Aztecs starting quarterback to start their season?
I will say AJ Duffy. I asked John Lewis on Saturday if he had a leader in the clubhouse so far. Great coach speak. Didn't even get close to answering that question. And it's understandable, but actions speak louder than words. And the actions of what we saw on Saturday was first team reps to AJ Duffy right off the bat. And he looks good.
He did. It's less for me about Saturday and more about Duffy's got 2 years of college experience at Florida State. He didn't get on the field a lot, but the difference between having 24 months in college football and not is significant. Not to say it can't be overcome. There are true freshmen that play in college football and have had good seasons. So maybe Danny O'Neal is capable of doing that. But if both are equal and you have one guy that's entering his 3rd year of college football and the other entering his 1st, I would probably lean towards the quote-unquote veteran. So I would agree with you at this point. Next question.
Will the Lakers win a game during the series versus the Nuggets?
I think they'll win at least one game. Now, the Nuggets seem to have the Lakers' number over the last 2+ postseasons. They have no answer for Jokic, but Anthony Davis also matched Jokic in game 1.
Right.
The numbers were very comparable. I had John Ireland and Alan Sliwa on last week. Must be nice. It was.
It's great.
And they mentioned, like, look, Anthony Davis and the Jokic matchup isn't the matchup that's going to be the issue. It's going to be the other's issue. And if D'Angelo Russell looked like D'Angelo Russell in game 1, where I think he was like 1 for 9 from 3, they're going to lose this series. They need those others to step up. I think they're going to at least win one game in this series. I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep again.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. First of all, oftentimes, even when you have a dominant team in a 7-game playoff series, you typically still like get a throwaway game 3 or 4 at home. Like one of those home games, you're down 2 games, you win game 3, but then you lose 4 and 5, or you're down 3-0 and you win game 4. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Lakers will win a game. I don't see a scenario where they win the series, obviously. Denver's absolutely dominated them regular season and postseason, but I do think they will win a game in the series. Next question.
Should the expectations for the Padres be to sweep the Rockies this week?
The expectations should be to win the series versus the Rockies this week. A sweep would be just chef's kiss, perfect scenario. You'd love to see that. I mean, imagine on Friday we're coming in here. Do they play a day game on Thursday?
I think they do.
Okay,
but I will confirm it.
Probably Thursday afternoon when they're finished with their final game of the series.
12:10 Pacific.
So the final game of the series on Thursday. If we come in at 3:00 and
game probably is over,
the game's over, and they take 4 games there, and they're now 16-12 on the season. That to me is the not the hot start, but the good start that I was looking for. There's obviously a 6 games left in the month after that, but I think 3 of 4 is something that you really have to try to accomplish here.
Yeah, I'm with you. The expectation should be 3 of 4. Expectations against any team should never be a 4-game road sweep.
No, it's very hard.
Like you said, of course you take it. That's the dream scenario. But how could you expect? Like, I don't think if the Dodgers are going into a 4-game series in Colorado, I mean, they're like, hey, we got to take all 4. I mean, you're not going to sweep every series you play. Teams that win 110 times are losing 30+% of the time. 30+% of the time they're losing. Like, this isn't NFL where you'll stumble into sometimes 16-1, 15-2, perfect regular season. It's not like that. Teams don't win at 85% clips. It's not college basketball. So you win 70% of the time. It means you're losing on average 1 of 4 or beyond that, obviously. So no, you win this series, you're in great shape. You don't win this series, and we'll have some questions. Like, if they lose this series, it's a swing series for me, because it's like, you win it, you're like, oh, I feel great about it. Took 3 out of 4, 2 games over. You lose it, you be like, man, what do I know about this team? It's been pretty disappointing. We're now multiple games under 500. We just lost the series in Denver.
So a couple factors here. One, obviously, they're without Manny Machado for maybe the entire series, because
UT's reporting the entire series.
Okay, so entire series, 4 games here. You're without one of your best hitters, your cleanup hitter, your DH.
That's a huge factor.
That's number one, but also congrats to him and his wife. Number 2, we know no matter, and I know they went 9-4 versus the Rockies last year. That's what I would take right now. Sign me up.
Yep.
Use this pen that's in my hand. I would sign on the dotted line right now. Take 9-4 this season against the Rockies. We just also know that these games at Coors Field are always unpredictable. They just always are.
So true.
They could be, I mean, tonight's game
5-0.
Right. It could be a 1-0 game. Probably not. Or the more likely scenario, it's a crazy 7-4 win for whatever team.
Yep.
You know, it just always is an unpredictable place to play. You never can get a full read on it because of just how Coors Field is. So it's also nice, though, that's not like the summertime yet there, because when it gets to the summertime, it could be an issue. But those factors there, no Manny, the unpredictableness of Coors Field always when you go there, like,
notes that the Padres have won 15 of 21 against the Rockies, regardless of location. It doesn't feel like that. Maybe it's more, it speaks to this. It speaks to, you remember your bad poker losses, you don't remember the hands you win. That's what it speaks to me. There have been some horrific Padres losses against the Rockies over the years. There's some good come from behind wins as well. But I mean, go back to 2022. Padres are in the National League Championship Series for the first time in a quarter century. They lost the season series to the Rockies. In 2022, the Padres lost the season series to the Rockies. That's all you need to know about what's to come here. And also, like, you know, it's a 4-game stand. How many people are going to be there? It's a Monday night. Like, it's 162 games. You talked about it earlier in the year with Merrill. Early on, everyone's up for everything. It's your first 10 games of your big league career. You're on adrenaline. Everything's a high. You can't be on a high for 162. This has nothing to do with Merrill. It has more to do with the team. How do you prepare to play a really bad team? Are you prepared to go on the road and play a really bad team and win? Easier. I'm telling you, it's easier said than done. A lot of this thing is mental. You don't just walk in and win. Look at the 2023 Padres. They didn't walk into series and win them.
Yep. And you're going to probably have, what, 15,000 fans there tonight?
Exactly. I don't know if they drawn it all. They shouldn't be.
I don't know if they have. I haven't looked up the
historically they do, but there's no
Field.
way they are now.
But you know, everybody in Denver, Colorado has their eyes on
the Broncos jerseys.
Not only the god awful Broncos jerseys, but the Denver Nuggets tonight against the Lakers.
Oh, I was going to say the Zach Wilson trade.
Oh, that too.
Right.
That's probably a bigger story than anything the Rockies are doing today.
Wait, Nuggets are at home tonight?
They are at home tonight.
There's no one, and no one's paying attention to this thing in Denver.
Maybe 15,000 is a little too much. Maybe it's a generous number.
Probably.
But that is a good point. How are you going to get up for these types of series? Because the Rockies are not a good team. And these are very important games to the Padres, even though it's April 22nd. I get it.
Yep.
But they just are. You lose a 4-game series to the Rockies, that puts you in a hole to where you have to go out and play really good baseball versus good teams, like this weekend against the Phillies. And then next week, I don't know the Reds record is this year, but they got a couple of new pieces to their team. But especially this weekend versus the Phillies, you happen to lose 3 or 4 to the Rockies this weekend, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think split's the worst that's going to happen here in Colorado. But say they do lose 3 of 4, then it means you have to go out there and win a series versus the Phillies. You have to go and win that series versus the Cincinnati
And the Reds are good.
Okay, the Reds are good.
Yeah, so to your point, Phillies 14-8,
Mhm.
Reds 12-9.
So
2 good teams.
This is where you make your hay, whatever the saying is. I don't even know what the saying
I like
is.
that.
Like,
Just say it.
make your hay.
Yeah.
Make your way. Make your hay. Anyway,
No, I think
go out and win the series. So, at the end of the year, when you look up, hopefully this team is in the postseason, and reasons why are because they took advantage of when they played the bad teams like the Rockies this year and didn't lose series to the bad teams they did last year.
Will you have any hot takes about Manny if they don't win the series?
0, zip, zilch, none. I know you want me to very badly, but I'm not going to.
Kyle Newman, Denver Post, will get us ready for the next 4 days. He covers the Rockies. He will join us on the other side. Plus, later this hour, another giveaway. We've got giveaways every hour today, including this hour. 4 tickets to Seals Across. They've got a home playoff game this Saturday. Tickets to SealsLAX.com. Kyle Newman, Denver Post. Next. All right. If you're looking for an absolute game changer because you're living your life on the go, you're not eating healthy, you're always hungry, you're looking for a meal replacement, look no further than Almond RX. All right. You're going to get your immunity boost, you're getting your daily dose of vitamin D, and you're getting a healthy and tasty snack for you and your family, and you're eliminating the vending machine from your day. You're just completely doing that. It's a game changer. It can be a life changer. If you're looking for something that's healthy and tasty that curbs hunger, Almond RX packs are for you. The first and only skinless almond fortified with vitamin D. You're getting your daily serving of 23 almonds. This company, founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician and a very good one, Almond RX packed with a powerhouse of nutrients that supports your heart health, cellular health, and gut health. You can find Almond RX at any Foodland in San Diego County, Harvest Ranch at Encinitas, or if you go to almondrx.com right now, that's ALMOND.com, you're going to get free shipping on orders of $25 or more. That's right. Free shipping right now. Go there, almondrx.com. Almond RX curbs hunger. It's the perfect snack for the on-the-go lifestyle.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres start a 4-game series tonight in Colorado versus the Rockies. 5:40 first pitch there. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today, Manny Machado. He will be probably out for these 4-game series. He's going on paternity leave for the birth of his first child. Congratulations to him and his wife. And Aztecs news over the weekend, it was made official as Nick Boyd announced on his Instagram page that he will transfer and he has committed to San Diego State from FAU. And tonight we have Lakers basketball as they take on the Denver Nuggets, game 2 of that series, 7 p.m. tip-off time. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchases of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
We wrap up this conversation, but Lakers Nuggets game 2 tonight, 7 p.m. Listen here on San Diego Sports 760. We're bringing Kyle on to talk a little bit about Padres Rockies, primarily kicking off a series tonight in Denver at Coors Field. Kyle, we appreciate you taking time for us. Jon and Jim in San Diego. People knew, and there were no expectations for the Rockies, obviously. I mean, with this division and the spending and the Dodgers. So we knew they weren't going to be good, but did people expect them to be as bad as they have been to this point?
Yeah, guys, I mean, great question. I picked them to lose 99 games in our season preview coming off last year's 103-loss campaign. You know, first time they cracked the century mark, worst season in franchise history. And I thought, hey, you know, last year they had a ton of pitching injuries. You know, half the rotation went down with Tommy John and Antonio Senzatella and Herman Marquez. They've got to be a little better this year. Right. Well, I don't know. I think at this point, they're going to be a little worse. I think 110 losses, 115 maybe could be in the cards. And I you know, to answer your question directly, yes, I think people were prepared for them to be bad. I don't think they thought they were going to be this bad. And, you know, kind of flirting with some infamous history here through the first 22 games, their worst start in franchise history. You know, they trailed at one point in each of their first 22 games, and they're the first team to do that in each of their first 22 games since the 1931 Reds. So just a lot of bad history they're making so far. And I don't think people were thinking they're going to be this bad, but it looks like they're going to be possibly the worst team in all of baseball. And it's been interesting to see it kind of reflected so far in some of the attendance figures. Several games under 20,000 here at Coors Field early on in the season. And it looks like it might be starting to creep into that attendance window, you know, here at Coors Field, which traditionally has been kind of immune to bad baseball. You know, people come out around 3 million a summer anyways. I don't know if that's going to be the case this summer.
You know, Bud Black, San Diego have ties here for sure. San Diego State, Padres. Is this like Bud Black's kind of, you know, I guess swan song here with the Rockies if this thing goes the way south like it looks like it is, or is Bud Black going to survive a potential another 100-loss season, you think?
That's a great question. You know, before the season, during spring training, there were rumblings like about another potential contract extension for Buddy. I know that the front office, Dick Monfort, the owner specifically, also Bill Schmidt, the GM, they like Buddy for the way he, you know, has been able to kind of handle the waves here in the last couple of years and the 100-loss season last year. He's a good front, I guess, for the organization, a good spokesman, you know, in dealing with the media and whatnot and kind of smoothing some things over. But it's a good question, you know, back to those rumblings about the contract extension, you know, Buddy at this point isn't commenting anymore about those. And you kind of got to wonder, was he the one that was like, oh, I don't know if I want to commit to this for a few more years? Or was it the Rockies who maybe pulled back the reins? We don't know for sure, but we know that those talks have kind of fizzled out. To directly answer your question, I think he would survive another 100-loss season. Now, would he survive a 115-loss season? I don't know. That's kind of a different territory there. But then again, who would the Rockies have to replace him that's, I guess, more qualified or would be better than him in this situation? I mean, I think he could bring in, Hall of Fame manager in this situation, and the result will be the same, quite honestly. There's just not a lot of depth, not a lot of good pitching, and you're playing a ton of young players in the field and the lineup every day. So I think a lot of Denver would agree with me. This is not really Buddy's mess. Will he pay the price for it ultimately? I would bet no this year. Now, if they come out next year, he's still the manager and they lose 100 more, I think at some point something's got to give. But I would think his job is fairly safe, just considering all those factors.
Right. This is a reflection on the organization.
Yeah, not Buddy Black.
Yeah, exactly. And I think most people completely can see that, but we know how professional sports and even college sports can work. Has this at all been a firestorm, the off-field Hensley Mullen story, the photo from a cockpit that has led to like an FAA investigation? Like, among all the things that the Rockies probably don't need is one of their coaches taking photos from inside the cockpit of a plane that's at 30,000 feet would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Jim, that's just kind of added to the list, right? I mean, I think on the degrees of stupidity, it's probably not the worst thing in the world, but in an era where you're sensitive about air travel, it's pretty much obviously since 9/11, going in the cockpit during the flight is like a big no-no. Right now, on these major league charters, professional teams overall, is it a more common occurrence? Maybe, but at the same time, to do that and to kind of mime up there like you're driving the plane, and then to post it on Instagram was the final kind of no-no in that sequence there. It's just a bad look for the organization. Buddy Black had to answer questions about it late last week. And, he said Bam Bam apologized to, the team, to the franchise, to United Airlines. I think they're trying to move on here. But it's just another thing of like, guys, come on. Bam Bam, I think, deserves some criticism overall he definitely does for last year and the amount of strikeout totals that the Rockies have. And they're not exactly hitting the crap out of the ball this year either. So, I mean, it's just another thing to, it's more fodder for the local sports columnists, to be honest, guys, because they definitely jumped all over that. I know our columnists did at the paper, at the Post, being like, hey, we're on a historically awful start on the field, and we got the hitting coach up in the cockpit of a plane at, 35,000 feet or whatever they're at. It's not a good look overall, and it's just another kind of poor reflection, another possible omen of what we got coming ahead here the rest of the summer. We thought last summer was bad with 103 losses. Based off of how the first month of the season has gone, that might have just been a warm-up.
The Chris Bryant situation, he is hurt all the time and got that big 7-year, I think $189 million contract or 180 some plus $1 million contract a couple years ago. How is that contract viewed, and is it viewed as the worst contract in the franchise history?
Yeah, I mean, the $182 million man has been pretty much a huge dud so far. There's no other way to spin it. He's only played in about, I think, 35% of the games since that contract went into effect. And yeah, it looks terrible. I mean, it looks bad. And I've talked to people within the organization too, of course, who didn't want to be quoted, who also questioned it and also questioned, does KB have the drive, to want to play anymore? I mean, of course he wants to play, he wants to collect his money, but is this the same guy who wore a Cubs uniform and won the MVP and led them to a World Series title? In terms of, want to and baseball skill, no, I don't think it is. And you got, I think 4 or 5 years left on the deal. It's looking bad for them, guys. And it's looking bad both in terms of the health has been a huge issue. The power has been a huge issue. I mean, you're paying him $25-26 million a year, and he's hitting just a handful of home runs. It just doesn't look good. And I'll tell you what, on top of that contract, guys, the contract given to Daniel Bard also has aged just horribly. A couple seasons ago, he was really lights out. And a lot of us in the media and, us critics thought they should have traded him, should have gotten some value for him when his value was, coming back off the yips. He proved he could kind of be a shutdown guy again. well, that might have been peak Daniel Bard because last year wasn't good, and then gets hurt early in the season, and he's going to be out for a long time. So that has all big money. These kind of deals make you scratch your head and say, what are the Rockies doing? And I think a lot of this is driven by sentimentality, not necessarily with Bard, but with KB. That's not a sentimental factor, but that's a guy on the marquee, right? You trade Nolan, people are angry. You want to bring in another big star to draw people into the ballpark. And I think Dick Monfort surely saw Chris Bryant as that star who could be kind of a guy on the marquee to draw people in. Charlie Blackmon, another example. I love Charlie Blackmon. I love seeing him play. He's actually been hitting well so far here this year, but another contract for him. Was that advisable? Sometimes the Rockies just do things for sentimentality's sake or, to bring in a big name, and it's not exactly Moneyball.
No doubt. Kyle, we appreciate it. Real quick, we probably have 15 seconds. Bigger Denver story today. Broncos uniforms or Nuggets Lakers?
I think Nuggets Lakers.
Okay.
I mean, the Broncos uniforms have been taking up the Twitter sphere for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate them. Some people like them. But, hey, Nuggets Lakers. I mean, this is with the Avs possibly looking shaky here with the shaky goaltending against the Jets in this first-round series. They got a tough matchup. But everyone wants to see the Nugs winning again. And with the best player in the world on their squad, of course, they're going up against LeBron and AD, but I don't think LeBron and AD are going to be enough to overcome this Nuggets team. And I think we're in for another deep postseason run for the Nuggets, and dare I say, another championship.
All right. Sounds like everyone's going to be watching Rockies Padres in Denver tonight. Kyle Newman, Denver Post. We appreciate it, Kyle. Hopefully we can catch up again this summer. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right. Call right now if you want a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to a Seals lacrosse playoff game this Saturday. Tickets and info at sealslax.com. This is at Pechanga. First 2 callers will be contestants for Trainwreck Radio. You need to call right now. 877-767-4760. If you've never been to a Seals game, you should go. It's awesome. It's a really good experience. Great fan experience. 877-767-4760. We have a free 4-pack of tickets for Saturday night, Seals at Pechanga Arena. Again, the number to call, 877-767-4760. First 2 callers, contestants for trivia. That's next. All right, we got Trainwreck Radio on the other side. John Fanta, Fox Sports, College Basketball Insider at 5 p.m. San Diego Sports 760, anytime, anywhere, Jim. Whether you're eating food or stepping out of the car or settling in at home, just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760. We're streaming live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one. This one.
Jon and Jim. Yeah.
That's right. San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. I love that. Shows like this one.
Yeah. This show.
Right, or whoever's reading it. Shows like this one.
Like they type in this one.
This
like,
one,
where's
exactly.
this one that show? I can't find it.
John Fanta, by the way, Fox Sports college basketball voice and insider will join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. I also want to rip Jim coming up just after the top of the hour, so stay tuned for that.
Why? What'd I do?
I'll explain. But right now, let's play.
Rip me.
3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants. Hold on, I have my sheet here. Are Eric and Ben. Eric, you called in first, so you give your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I would like the future voice of the Aztecs, Mr. John Schaefer.
I appreciate that.
I was ready for him to say
Jim
Jim
Russell.
Russell. Like, huh? What?
Jim could still be a future voice.
I could be a
it's
voice,
in the future,
but just not a future voice of the Aztecs. I'll be a voice though. Ben, that means you get me, okay?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Wow.
Everyone's
Ben Fletcher?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. Everyone's happy this week because last week they only had me as their lifeline.
Right.
This week they have an option.
You were steady QB.
I was the steady QB.
Okay.
I threw no incompletions.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Like Zach Wilson.
Yeah, better. Brent, what's the question?
All right, guys, we touched on the NBA playoffs from over the weekend. Home teams this weekend went 8-0 in the NBA playoffs. It's the first time that's happened since 2013.
Wow.
Today's question: can you name the 9 teams with the best home records this year in the NBA? So we're looking for the 9 teams with the best home records this season in the NBA.
All right, Ben, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. Oh, Ben, are you there?
Ben, are you there?
Hello.
Benny.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
you need to name an NBA team that was good at home this year.
The best home records.
Let's do the Celtics.
The Celtics.
Good guess.
Good guess
Yeah.
on the list. Eric, you're up next. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
How about Denver?
Denver Nuggets
All right.
on the list. Ben, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have your lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's do the Knickerbockers.
New York Knicks.
Top 9 home record, Brent?
On the list. Eric, back to you. Second guess. You do have your lifeline still. What do you got?
How about the Bucks?
The Milwaukee Bucks.
Top
on the
9.
list. Ben, back to you to go 3 for 3 here. Final guess. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Well, let's do the lifeline.
Wow.
Okay. I will go the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the OKC Thunder. Do you take it?
I take it.
On the list. There we go. Back to Eric to send this thing into overtime. Your final guess, or if you want to use your lifeline, which is John, you can use it. What are you going to do?
How about the Timberwolves?
T-Wolves.
T-Wolves.
Wow.
Wow. 3 for 3.
My lifeline would have been, and I have no clue.
I know you don't.
And we're watching a game right now. My sneaky guess would have been the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You would have been wrong.
Oh, okay. That's what I was saying.
They were 10th. So
Okay.
Cleveland's
So they were solid, but yeah. Okay.
If you would have said the other team, that
Orlando
Cleveland had-
Orlando was top 9?
Yes.
Wow. 'Cause I
Okay.
think Orlando's the 5 seed this year.
Okay.
But,
Yeah,
anyway.
they had the 6th best home record this
Wow.
year.
Wow, good for them. All right, Brent, we're going to overtime. Give us the rules of overtime and the question.
All right, guys, how overtime is going to work is I'm going to ask you a question. When I am done asking the question, you are going to yell out the name of your partner today. So you're going to yell out either Jon or Jim. Don't yell out the answer. Whoever yells out the name of their partner first, you're going to win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. Do you guys got it?
Yep. Got it.
Okay, today's overtime question. Who are the Nuggets playing?
Jim.
I heard Jim.
All right.
Ben.
LA Lakers.
That is correct for the win. Okay. So Trainwreck Radio can have many cruel twists like that question.
Guess what, John?
You won?
I won.
You didn't do anything.
I'm on a winning streak. I'm on a 6-game winning
That's why
streak.
you won.
It's true. I did something. I guess the Cavs.
I'm on a
I was wrong.
6-game winning streak. Let's go.
All right. So who do we miss? You said Orlando. We got what, 5 or 6 of these, or 7 of them?
8 of them.
All right, the Celtics had the best record, followed by
total.
the Thunder, then the Nuggets, then the Bucks, then the Timberwolves, the Magic, the Lakers. Houston was
Okay.
number 8. That was kind of a surprise, and then the Knicks were number 9.
Wow. Okay. Anyway.
All right. Well,
you got most of them.
congratulations, because here's what you've won today. A 4-pack of tickets to the Seals Lacrosse playoff game Saturday, Pechanga Arena. Tickets and info at sealslax.com. If you've never been, great time. Really
Playoff
is.
time?
Awesome fan experience. But
Yeah.
playoff lacrosse, it's a great event. If you've never seen the Seals, you need to get to Pechanga, including this weekend for this home playoff game. Tickets and info at sealslax.com. If you didn't win today, more chances to win throughout the course of the week. All right, on the other side, I am going to
Rip me for some reason?
Yes, I
Okay,
am
cool.
very mad at you, and I will explain why on the other side. Plus, John Fanta, Fox Sports. What does he make of San Diego State and their activity in the transfer portal, adding Nick Boyd from FAU? Are the Aztecs still on the prowl? What's their ceiling in 2024-25 with the offseason underway? John Fanta kicks off hour 3 next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Rockies start a 4-game series tonight in Colorado. 5:40 first pitch there. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today, Manny Machado likely to miss the entire Rockies series because he's going on paternity leave for the birth of his first child. Congratulations to him and his wife. Aztecs news over the weekend. Micah Parrish, he is going to be transferring to Ohio State. He announced that on Saturday afternoon, but also on Saturday, the announcement of Nick Boyd being transferred here. What?
I like that because there's a pregnant pause in the same read as you're talking about Manny Machado's wife expecting their first child. So his wife has been pregnant.
I'm sure it was intentional.
What is happening? I was talking about Nick Boyd. That's what I was stumbling upon.
I know it was a pregnant pause.
Oh, bum.
Someone help me.
Help me too. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs. Some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer in 6-1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. I got the joke now.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim. There's a lot to get into. John Fanta is going to join us the next handful of minutes. So get ready for a conversation with a great voice on college basketball. We're going to talk a lot of San Diego State. We're going to talk about Nick Boyd.
Correct.
So what? Yeah, maybe I stumbled through that because you were talking about the pregnancy, and then I said because you used so much time, you had a pregnant pause.
I know. I get it now, John. Ha ha, funny.
Here's why I want to rip you. For people watching on YouTube.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead and rip me.
Mary Ayala.
Do it.
Our program director, our new program director. She's probably been on the job for how long?
Month-ish?
Month and a half.
But she's been a part of iHeart San Diego for...
we've known Mary forever.
Yeah, ever since I've been here.
Incredible amount of time.
Decades.
Amazing. And she's done amazing work in radio here in San Diego and is now our program director on San Diego Sports 760. So she, for the new football gig, she was so kind to bring in a bottle of champagne for me.
Oh, nice.
But I'm going to explain. This all ties back to ripping Jim.
Okay.
But she also brought in Aztec reusable cold cups from Starbucks.
Oh, nice.
Okay, very kind.
You're going to be using those a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Why?
I'm just saying.
Because I like cups. Yeah, I drink.
I mean,
water.
Those are nice cups.
And a card.
Oh, nice.
Now, I don't know about Brent because I'm going to rip Jim. I don't. This, I'm told from Mary, was signed by everyone at San Diego Sports 760.
I signed it.
Thank you, Brent. Seriously. This was signed by everyone at San Diego Sports 760, but my damn co-host.
I feel set up here.
You're not.
I feel 100% set up. I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know you
got a card.
What do you
mean you didn't know it was happening?
I didn't know you had a card.
How did Brent sign it?
I didn't know you got champagne. I didn't know you got Aztecs reusable cups.
Because Mary came up to me today and goes, "Hey, we got this card for John. Do you want to sign it?" And I said, "Of course I want to sign it."
So are you telling me she didn't ask you?
I'm telling you.
Oh, she asked you.
I'm telling you she didn't ask me.
You're gonna throw Mary under the bus.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
and now
so
I'm
the
fired.
card. Look at this.
Maybe you weren't here yet to be asked.
Incredible. Look, I got these sweet, kind notes from everyone, like paragraphs.
Yeah. I just put congrats.
Oh, now Jim's writing. What are you gonna say? No, don't ruin that card.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Is that what you're gonna put?
Unbelievable. You co-host a show with someone and you feel like you know who they are, and then you learn who they truly are. They don't sign your card. And now he's signing it. You better be nice. I'm going to keep that card unless you're mean. And if you're mean, I'm getting rid of you, even though I don't have that ability. Are you writing something? He can't do two things
He's writing
at once.
a lot of something.
He's writing. Let me read your note.
I signed it. There you go.
Okay.
Boom.
Better late than never. Congrats, guys.
I'm really bad. My handwriting's not great.
Congrats.
Let me read this.
Yeah, read it to me. Seriously.
Okay. I said, better late than never. Congrats, I guess. Your partner, best co-host ever, Jim.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
I got to put that.
Sign it, please.
There we go.
But thank you guys. including Jim.
See, I did sign it.
And I said it off the top of the show. Thank you to everyone that has reached out. Seriously, it means the world. And we always say on Jon and Jim, like, we wouldn't be doing Jon and Jim if not for your listenership, your viewership, your support. Like, we don't just talk to each other. I mean, we do talk to each other, but we can't they wouldn't keep us here if people weren't listening. So your support seriously means a ton. I can't wait to get started this fall with San Diego State football. And I can't wait to keep doing Jon and Jim, despite the fact that Jim didn't sign my congratulations card.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Didn't ask this last week when we had you on for the announcement.
Yeah, I know. You asked like nothing about it. But yeah, what do you got?
What does this mean for the Jon and Jim show?
Of course, the question is, what does it mean for me?
Exactly.
Right. Like when San Diego State plays on the road and I have to travel.
Correct.
You'll do solo shows.
Oh, perfect.
It's an opportunity for you to continue to grow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, they don't play dozens of road games.
That's what I told him last week.
I'm joking.
5 or 6 road games.
But at least we get the inside coverage from San Diego State football with the voice of San Diego State football, John Schaefer.
Who are you trying to be?
I don't know. Big voice guy.
NFL draft guy?
It's not like they play 95% of their games on Saturday, so he might miss like a Friday show.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Jim.
You're welcome, I guess.
But more so, thank you, Brent. And thank you, Mary. And thank you to our listeners, seriously, and everyone that's reached out. All right, John Fanta, Fox Sports. All right, San Diego State, active in the portal, adding Nick Boyd. There's nobody better, by the way, than John in terms of covering college hoops.
Just in general.
In general. One of one, John Fanta. Great to have you back with us. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. First of all, what do you think of the Nick Boyd addition?
Well, I think that Nick Boyd is a strong addition for San Diego State. First and foremost, the storyline here is fascinating. I mean, he is on the wrong end of the Lamont Butler buzzer beater game winner that lives on in college basketball history forever. And I remember getting a front row seat to that shot. And in the video, you just see Nick turn around and he sees the jubilation of San Diego State. And you can't tell me that human nature doesn't cause people to think about things, think about their pathway. And maybe it's meant to be. And Nick is a person who's very into faith. I've gotten to know him actually pretty well. He is related to Fred Hill, a longtime college basketball coach and a guy who was with the New Jersey school, Seton Hall, Rutgers stints, really good guy. And Fred told me about Nick when he was just coming into college, how hard of a worker he is, the kind of scorer that he can be. He is going to fit what San Diego State is about. And this is the ultimate compliment to the program he comes from, what Dusty May built at FAU. Because if you're going to play at Florida Atlantic the last 2 years, or if you're going to play at San Diego State, you've got to be a junkyard dog. You have to be tough. You have to be willing to guard. You have to embrace your role on a team. Nick was not the main dude on FAU. He wasn't the second best player on FAU. But he sacrificed certain things to be a team guy. I think that he had, this past year, he battled some injuries. It wasn't as much of a Hollywood script as the year previous, but he really set the tone. He set the tone in that locker room. He set the tone in that locker room and made people around him better. And I think what Brian Dutcher sees is a guy who's going to guard and a guy who can do a lot of things for the culture of a team. Not a premier scorer, but a guy who can get and string together 2-3 baskets at a time. More than anything, a guy in Nick Boyd who has seen all the highs and lows of college basketball on the biggest of stages. So it's a quality guard pickup in the portal.
The portal, NIL, just your whole thoughts on how it has changed the landscape of college basketball, because, you know, right when the season ends, it's who's going to be in the transfer portal, or even before the season ends, because when these teams, you know, their seasons are over, it's boom, guys are in the transfer portal right away.
Jim, it would be an understatement to call this the wild, wild west. An understatement. This is utter chaos. I don't know if there's a SpongeBob fan out there or if you have any experience watching the show, but there's a show where he basically removes everything from his brain and then somebody asks him for his name and they go inside his brain and it's just people running around with his brain on fire. That's transfer portal in college basketball. You've probably seen the GIF.
Yes.
You haven't, you can check it out with this very description. Guys, I cover the sport. I love the sport. We who do our jobs are also fans. But right now, what this is, if you want to be following it accurately, it is a phone refresh 24/7, 365. I guarantee as we're doing this interview, someone is committed to a school. It just is how it is. You would have to be, I'm married. If I followed it every minute, I think there might be divorce papers filed. That's how chaotic it is. It's not work. It's like it's consuming. And I talked to a coach earlier today who's like, I'm doing my job. I love my job. I love my kids. But right now I got 4 kids on my team. That's it. I got to find 9 others. And every hour it changes how much money they want. And every hour it changes what circumstances they want and what they want to do and how the money's going to get deposited. This is pay for play. It is professional sports. It is going to have massive ripple effects on college athletics. I don't think within football and basketball, the structure of those sports are going to change that much from the chaos that we have now, other than maybe some regulation. Maybe you say, you can go from one school to the other, but you can't be transferred 2, 3, 4 times if you're signing a contract. But what I would say is I don't know how an athletic department at even like the medium power conference level. So you're probably asking, what do I mean by that? I'm saying San Diego State would fall into this mix, but I'm even saying like a Northwestern, right? I'm even saying like a Vanderbilt or even like a Texas Tech or an Iowa State or an Iowa. I know some of these schools are big time schools, but they're not Georgia, Alabama in football, or Duke, Kentucky in basketball. Those departments are having trouble doing the job right now of managing their rosters, managing their kids, getting waivers, managing the NIL. The very structure of college sports, Jim, is getting shaken. But the people who are in charge of overseeing the shaking don't want to do anything to really change it. So you have this massive divide that eventually is going to break, and you're going to have there's going to be no such thing as the NCAA anymore. And who will that affect? Football and basketball will be fine. Why? They make money, and they get television dollars. I just worry about, as a college sports guy, I appreciate college baseball, college soccer, college field hockey, college volleyball, college track and field. I don't know how those things exist in 10 years.
It's great perspective. It's well said. Who knows what the future really looks like? I mean, whether it is football, men's basketball, or Olympic sports in college athletics. We've got the great John Fanta with us right now, San Diego Sports 760, Jon and Jim. I found it interesting. There was a conversation Tom Izzo of Michigan State had on the radio, and he mentioned the fact that one of his former players who started 26 games for him last year, Mady Sissoko, not only is in the portal, but is visiting San Diego State. He mentioned 2 or 3 other schools as well. Reportedly, Sissoko, I believe, is visiting the Mesa this week. What type of fit would he be? I mean, 2 years ago, San Diego State had the ultimate rim protector in Nathan Mensah. This past year, they had the ultimate scorer out of a forward or center in the undersized, quote unquote, for a center, Jaden Ledee, but he was an All-American. Where would Sissoko potentially fit, or what type of fit would he be for the Aztecs?
Well, he'd be a decent fit. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the end-all, be-all answer to the problems for the Aztecs. At the end of the day, Mady Sissoko averaged 3 points and 5 rebounds per game, playing 15 minutes per contest this past year. And guys, there was an open door at Michigan State for anybody with a pulse, if they were a decent post player, to play at the 5. And he had multiple chances from Tom Izzo. It did not work out. Could a change of scenery, could the sunshine and warmth of San Diego over the cold winters of East Lansing produce some change in the kid? Of course. Of course. He is not going to score the basketball. He doesn't have back to the basket moves. He's not a shooter. But it would be a fine get by Brian Dutcher because Sissoko knows what toughness looks like, and he knows how to defend, and he knows physicality. If he ends up at San Diego State, that's certainly a fine get for Brian Dutcher. It's not an unbelievable get, an answer to all problems. I think what you're looking at here with San Diego State, at least when I look at them, is, a team that right now looks to be more guard oriented just based on the personnel that they have. Now they need to pick up a post player. You're in a situation, right, with Elijah Saunders and what he could be able to bring to the table heading into next season. But I do think you're looking at a team that's in a place where a Sissoko is a body. He's a Big Ten body and he's physical. He's not going to be the solver of all of your problems, but he could play 20 to 25 minutes per game and hold his own, and he's got 5 fouls.
John, what did you make of San Diego State's runs in the tournament the last 2 years? We had Brian Dutcher on a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned, last 2 years we were 7 in UConn because the only two teams that they've lost to in the last 2 years have been UConn, the eventual national champions, and making back-to-back Sweet 16s, first time in school history. And then obviously the national championship game a couple of years ago. You've been very passionate about Brian Dutcher and this program, but to now really have that stamped in everybody's minds that this is a perennial college basketball program. Just thoughts in the last 2 years for San Diego State.
It's remarkable. What Brian Dutcher has done is one of the best coaching jobs in America. He has made them a perennial contender that can go deep into March. He's made them one of the hardest playing teams in the sport. I just think that what they have become is a program and team rooted in toughness. 11 in KenPom defense this season, right? You look to last year, what they were able to become, a team that was 4th in the country in defensive efficiency. They're always going to be that type of team that just grinds you down and makes your life hell for 40 minutes. They're going to stick you in the blender, and it is the anti-San Diego experience. It is the opposite of sunshine and the beach. It is really just torturous to have to play them. Nobody looks forward to playing San Diego State, and rightfully so. I think beyond just what Dutch has done with his teams in establishing an identity, like now there's a player example, if not multiple examples, of the players that they've developed. Jaden Ledee is as great of a case as any for this coaching staff to sell to any person that's even thinking about playing at San Diego State, to say, look what we did with this kid. We helped him get to be a first-team All-American. Lamont Butler, Micah Parrish, the players that they became. Darian Trammell, he transfers from Seattle and comes to San Diego State and understands what winning looks like and gets better. Their ability to make players better cannot be overstated. At the same time, the way that they have developed the DNA that is rooted in absolute toughness. It's a non-negotiable. If you're going to play at San Diego State, has been ultra impressive. And it's why even in the Mountain West, which was deep as all get out this past year with the 6 teams making the NCAA tournament, San Diego State laid the foundation for that to happen. They changed the axis of a league. They changed how people think about West Coast basketball, and they continue to do it, establishing themselves as one of the sports powers. They are right there with Gonzaga as the premier programs out west.
Really well said. One more for you, John, before you go, and we appreciate the time as always. I mean, if you fast forward, and like you said, you have to refresh your phone every 20 minutes to really know what rosters are going to look like, and things are going to change. But if we get to a point where Reese Waters returns, Lamont Butler, who's testing NBA waters, returns for a 5th year, you look at the Elijah Saunders and the Miles Birds and the growth they had. You just look at the entirety of what they've been able to do, complementing it with Nick Boyd. We'll see what other additions they make here in the portal. How would you feel about San Diego State's roster if you can run it back, so to speak, if you get a Butler back, if you get a Waters back and you complement those pieces in the portal?
Yeah, I think Lamont Butler, Nick Boyd, Reese Waters can make up a really capable, good backcourt, good perimeter in the Mountain West. You know, we'll see what Miles Byrd is able to do next season and what he can do in this offseason, how he can develop heading into next year. Can he really take off for this Aztecs program? But I think that they're a team that will be an NCAA tournament team. I think that they're probably closer to the 8-9 line if I were to look at them than like the 2-3 line. But that's nothing to scoff about. And I think for them, the happy zone is, can you get a 5 or a 6 seed? Can you find a pathway there? Can you do enough in your non-conference? Which they're the other thing is they've become a non-conference destination type of team, meaning multi-team events are going to ask for them more. And if I'm a power conference team, there's no harm in playing San Diego State. There's game. So for them, they're going to have a good non-conference schedule. They're going to be in a very good league that keeps getting better. And I think they've got enough experience to be a team that should compete near the top of the Mountain West. And I'd say is a top 35 or so team with things being dependent on what kind of a leap can Elijah Saunders take? And can we continue to see growth out of Miles Byrd? And if those things happen and you get Butler and Waters back and Waters can settle into his role more and be more aggressive, then San Diego State's going to be a tough out again because, again, Jon and Jim, what it comes down to is, you know, when you walk in there for your first workout of the spring or summer or your first workout of the fall, they know who they are. So many programs do not.
Jon, we love your perspective, man. Nobody does college basketball better 365 days a year than Jon Fanta at Fox Sports. We appreciate you hopping on in San Diego. Have a good spring, my friend. We'll do it again at some point, hopefully this summer.
Thank you, guys. Always a pleasure to join you.
Find something you love as much as Jon Fanta loves college basketball. For me, it's bracketology.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
No, for Jim, it's Deadpool 3.
That's accurate.
For Brent, it's Deadpool 3.
Probably accurate.
For me, it's more like Jon Fanta. It's like college athletics.
Yeah. Or like tofu.
That too.
You love tofu.
By the way, burying some of the lead, and if someone, I don't know if he's listening right now or watching, Mike Miller, our dedicated, loyal viewer and listener, you know what I'm talking about. He's in every wrap-up show.
Yep.
He's in every stream. He was here earlier. I don't know if he's here now. I meant to say it earlier. His birthday was Friday. I was off the show. Happy belated birthday, Mike Miller.
Oh, awesome.
Did you get him a card?
I did not. Did you?
Yeah, and I signed it. Did you sign it?
Stop it.
Happy belated birthday, Mike Miller. Thank you for your viewership, your listenership, your support. If someone knows Mike and is watching right now on YouTube, send him this clip. But thank you, Mike, for your support of Jon and Jim and the wrap-up show. We'll get you ready for tonight in Denver on the other side. I'm not talking Nuggets, not talking Broncos uniforms. I'm talking Padres Rockies. What you need to know, why it's an important series for the Padres. It'll get underway in about 15 or 20 minutes. We'll get you ready for it next on Jon and Jim. All right, imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free with no credit cards or car loan or personal loans. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make that happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly with Loan Pronto's AI-based system. You can get approval in about 10 minutes. No documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off your other loans. The average homeowner, in fact, saves over $850 a month doing this. That is a ton of money, obviously. Your home value's up, and you can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips. and approval is just minutes away. Here's the number to call. You can call right now. Jot it down. 619-207-4336. Again, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Equal housing lender.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staple Stores, Padres and Rockies. about 10 minutes away from first pitch in Colorado to start a 4-game series there. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Manny Machado likely to miss the entire series here. He's going on paternity leave for the birth of his first child. Congratulations to him and his wife. Aztecs news over the weekend. Nick Boyd, guard from FAU, will transfer to San Diego State, and updated us in a post on his Instagram story over the weekend. And Micah Parrish is transferring to Ohio State. And Lakers, they take on the Denver Nuggets, game 2 of their series tonight at 7 p.m. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples can print anything you need to move your businesses forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even on the same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, local print and marketing expert.
Guys, stay connected with San Diego Sports 760 no matter where you are, whether you're stepping out of your car or settling in at home. Just command your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or use the free iHeartRadio app for seamless listening. It's like having your favorite station right in your pocket, Jim.
Wow.
I know.
Right in my pocket.
Here's what we're going to do between now and 5:40. We're giving away a pair of tickets to Meat Eater Live. You heard me right. Meat Eater Live, Wednesday, Balboa Theater. Okay, Meat Eater Live, hitting the road again this spring. We'll tell you when to call.
Sign me up.
Okay. Well, you know, you're not eligible.
Why not?
Because you work here.
What?
In theory, at least for now.
Oh.
Padres Rockies, right? In 10 minutes, you just said it.
Correct, yeah.
This is one of those series, and there'll be a handful of them over the year, but there's not a million of them. There's going to be at least a handful over the year. You say, you know, you kind of got to win the series. Like when you're playing Oakland, when you're playing the White Sox this year, they're 3-18. Marlins. There's a few teams. We talked about it earlier, actually, with John Fanta off air. And there's 4 or 5 really bad teams from a record perspective right now.
White Sox are not
awful.
The White Sox are bad, but also the Houston Texans are
well, the Texans
Astros
play in the NFL.
Right. The Texans aren't good at all in baseball, but the Houston Astros
have been awful.
They've been very bad.
But they're still the Astros.
Sure.
But this is one of those series. And here's the other thing to consider tonight, why it's like, hey, you got to find a way to win 3 or 4. You got Dylan Cease pitching tonight. This is not the night where you say, yeah, well, one of those nights, Coors Field, yada, yada. No, you have Dylan Cease against a 5-17 team kicking off a 4-game series that you need to win. Nobody's saying must win, but, you know, you got to win it.
And you're also without Manny Machado for the entirety series.
True.
So that's another factor here as well where, you know, the depth of this team, we've talked about it. Not great. It's just not good. I don't care what anyone says. The depth of this team is not good. Their bench is bad. It's a revolving door of AAA players. It's just what it is. And when you lose a guy for a couple games, and this is totally understandable why Manny is missing time here, birth of his first child. So congratulations to him. But you see if there's like a major injury with this team to one of the top guys, lineup looks so different.
Like Jurickson Profar batting cleanup.
Yeah, Jurickson Profar has been really good for this team this year, but how much can you get away with this season if Jurickson Profar ends up like being their connipper? It's not going to happen, I don't think. But you know, my point is, give me the lineup right now.
Yeah, like I'm looking at. Obviously, you got Bogarts, who's really struggled. Tatis, by the way, has been good, not great. Exactly. Cronenworth has been completely cooled off. Profar's been great. Kim starting slow, albeit Kempe hasn't hit for power. He's hit a little bit. He hasn't hit for power. Rosario has been, again, these bench pieces have been good. Rosario's been good. Is he going to be good all year? Zokar's been great. Is he going to do that all year?
Very little sample.
But anyways, Rosario, Merrill, Zokar is your 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it feels thin.
And you have a bench of Matthew Batten, Graham Pauley, Kyle Higashioka.
That's your bench.
And
Wade.
Tyler Wade.
I always call him Will Wade.
That's not great.
Exactly. So again, well, we all know that. I mean, the one thing we can say about Manny in his 6 seasons here is he plays 155 games, 150 games. Again, he's going to miss 4 here.
Yeah.
And you hope that in general with Manny, in general, you hope to see him back in the field. You hope to see him produce the ways like the birth of this child is amazing, and taking these 4 days is completely it's great. But on the other side of all of this, from a baseball perspective, we do want to see Manny back in the field, right? Isn't that what Padres fans want to see? We do want to see Manny producing the way he's capable of producing. I do think he's been better. But that's a big part of unlocking this team. I think it's beyond him just DHing and being good. It got to get him back. If he doesn't play in the field this year, and he will, but if he didn't, like that's a big thing to overcome. I would say to have a different third baseman all year for the Padres,
getting him back in the field while also finding another bat somewhere.
Right, outside system, someone steps up.
Because once you put him back in the field, you really going to have Jose Zokar DHing? You're really going to have Tristan Profar be your DH? Or Graham Pauly be your DH? Like, no, it's not going to work. It's you're asking for trouble. Mm-hmm. You're asking for trouble if you go down that route. So if they can tread water here, end the first month playing good baseball, and it starts tonight in Colorado versus the worst team in baseball, and you can take this to the deadline, it'd be tough, but you're going to need some guys to carry you. We saw it in 2022. Manny carried that team to the deadline when they traded for Juan Soto and Josh Bell and Brandon Drury.
Right.
So I don't know who it's going to be on the offensive side right now, but whoever it is, if they can carry this team to the deadline and they can be in it, then you feel good because you know Preller is going to go and get a bat somewhere. And if Manny, say he doesn't get in the field until, let's just go June. Right?
It's possible.
Mm-hmm. June. Well, I think we can deal with it with like a month and a half of Manny in the field and a revolving door at DH until they go find a bat.
Right, because then you're getting closer to the deadline. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's an interesting conversation. I feel like this about this team. There's a lot of question marks to have about the team, but they're kind of quelling them for me based on what they've shown me so far. That makes sense. And again, they're not winning at this crazy clip, but they're 12-12, and nobody's been great in the division. But they've shown me enough. Why do I say that? The 8-0 game, overcoming a couple of 3 or 4 run deficits as well. I mean, if those didn't exist, if it was the same 2023 scenarios, down 8-0, down 5-1, and you're losing those games, then all of a sudden you're 9-15. Like the difference in the 3 comeback wins they have is 9-15 or 12-12. That is what would we be saying about a 9-15 team? We'd be saying this team isn't good. This team has problems.
Yeah,
that's what we'd be saying. But they have their 3 combined wins, so it's kind of like I'm somewhat trustworthy of them to this point. They just got to keep doing it. They got to keep finding ways to overcome adversity, overcome deficits, win games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Great crowd in Colorado.
And there's about 200. It's a friends and family game.
It is, yeah.
In Denver today because you got the Nuggets, you got the Broncos unveiling uniforms. You have a 5-17 Rockies team at home.
Everybody's upset about Zach Wilson.
Yeah, right. They're traded for Zach Wilson. Yeah. They're unveiling new helmets. They got one of the best basketball teams in the NBA.
Yeah,
they're playing the Lakers.
You have one of the best NFL teams, and I think the Avalanche are good.
I mean, they won a Stanley Cup last year.
Recently.
Did they win a Stanley Cup last year, the Avalanche? Does anyone know that? At some point last
year. I might be wrong, too. The Avalanche might suck, but no, they are the 3rd best team in the West.
So they don't suck. What did they do last year? Did they win the Just Google who won the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Didn't we know that?
Probably not. Maybe.
Right. Who won the Stanley Cup?
Yeah. Avalanche, they lost to the Jets on Sunday night, 7-6.
Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup.
Okay. Yeah.
They've done it recently.
Yeah.
Because it is a big. If you're looking for hockey insight, come here.
Exactly.
Each and every day.
I have no idea what I was saying, but oh yeah, you're a uniform guy.
I love uniforms.
I couldn't get it out. You're a uniform guy.
You really can't say that. No, I don't. Like
you are a uniform guy. There we go.
I love uniforms. I do not like these new Broncos.
Why is it so hard for Nike to just like make a good uniform?
I'd like something more unique than what they're putting out now. I think it's very like code. Like there's an NFL uniform code that they're following.
Very simple.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where you say you want something unique, but then if they did something outside of the box, you'd be like, what the hell is that?
You might be right.
The Atlanta
You're probably
Falcons
right.
suck. The Arizona Cardinals suck.
I agree. They're all similar and they're all simplistic.
Just do what people want. And I think that Denver fans just wanted their alternates to be their everyday.
Yeah. Go back to like what they were in like 1995, you mean?
Orange and the baby blue helmets or whatever type of blue that is.
Right.
It's not that hard. It's very simple. You don't have to go outside the box, right? Like just I don't know.
What's also not hard is to win a pair of tickets to Meat Eater Live. All you have to do is call 877-767-4760. Caller 3, they are yours. Meat Eater Live, 877-767-4760. Hitting the road again this spring. Join Stephen Ranella, the Meat Eater crew, and special guests for a fun night celebrating the outdoor lifestyle. This crew will deliver laughs, trivia, news, and nostalgia from across the worlds of hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, and wild foods. This all-ages show that blends curiosity, irreverence, and humor is sure to be a highlight of your spring. Tickets and info at themeateater.com. That's themeateater.com. Caller 3, they're yours. 877-767-4760. Jim's Back Page is next. All right, we have Jim's back page for you. That's coming up next. All right, John and Jim back with you. We'll get to Jim's back page in a moment. I want to remind you this, Jim.
Yeah.
760 has chances for you to win bonus bucks. Yep, $1,000 every day this week. Listen to the keyword and enter it at sportssd.com. Padres Rocks underway at Coors Field in Denver tonight. I'll have a wrap-up show for you tonight at 9:30 p.m. Me and you.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
That works for me.
All right.
Usually the time we usually do it. So there we go.
All right, there's your update. There's no score. The game's in the first inning.
Nothing.
Don't worry about that game. Worry about
This.
Let's get to it.
What was that? What was that for?
It's for the Padres not scoring in the first. I thought all 3 fly ball outs were home runs by 90 feet. They were all lazy fly balls.
Yeah.
Welcome to Denver.
Yeah.
What do you have for us today?
First up, the story here, it's an instant click on the story. How a ball boy ended up with the rare shoes from Michael Jordan's rookie season.
Okay.
1984. Remember that year vividly, right?
I know it was Jordan's rookie year.
A Detroit Pistons ball boy was assigned to work with the visiting team's locker room at the Silverdome during an early season matchup against the Chicago Bulls. His post-game duties was assigned to the visiting locker room where Michael Jordan had his game-worn sneakers. He actually now has those sneakers, and they are becoming like one of the rare sneakers you could sell and one of the most rare sneakers you can get because these are before the Air Jordans.
Oh, wow. So wait, he has them or he's selling them?
He has them that he is selling. The Nike Air Ships, like those were the shoes he wore before the Jordan brand, right? Worn by MJ, all right? Sold at an auction for guess how much?
I'll say millions. I'm willing to go in the I'll say 1.19 million.
Okay, Brent.
750,000.
You're actually both way off.
Really?
I thought these would
Yeah.
go for way more.
Right. 84 pre-shoe. So how much?
282,000.
A lot of money. It's signed or no?
Not signed.
Okay.
If they were signed, it'd be
$1 million.
completely different.
Well, here's my takeaway from what you just told us. You said something, you didn't even catch it. Did you catch that, Brent? He said Pistons, Bulls, Silverdome. The Pistons spent 10 years playing in an NFL stadium.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy? The Pistons from like late 70s to late 80s playing the Silverdome.
I remember like seeing videos.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like,
why is it so large?
I know. With like Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The iconic when they walked out on the Bulls.
Yeah. Was that the Silverdome? It may have been. Yeah.
I think it might have been the Silverdome.
Yeah. But I just
don't
find
know.
that interesting.
A lot of iconic matchups between the Bulls and the Pistons.
Absolutely.
In the 80s,
Absolutely.
for sure. Do you watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
I do. I think it's good. I enjoy it.
Well, a San Diego eatery is on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And if my computer would work, that'd be awesome, which it doesn't. So that sucks. Hold on. Let me pull
But
this
trust
back
me,
up.
one is.
Hold on. I had it up. My computer froze.
Well,
and-
while you look for that, the Pistons left the Silverdome. Their last season there was 88-89.
And they were like amazing then, right? Is that one of the bad boy teams? Did they win the finals?
I don't know. All they said June 16th, 1988, they had a crowd of 41,732 is the largest ever to attend an NBA game.
Crazy.
Well, a place up in Alpine area called the Nutmeg Bakery Cafe, a breakfast and brunch spot. The owners of that store have announced after their airing of their shop on Diners and Drive-Ins and Dives that they're moving locations. So because of Diners and Drive-Ins and Dives, this place is moving locations. They were recently on the show, and I love Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Well, you're such a big fan.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Guy's like my stepdad, basically.
Right. That's kind of weird, but yeah.
Very weird.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want
Is he going to be at the wedding?
He's going to. John, I have to tell you something.
Is he officiating?
That'd be awesome if he was officiating. Sorry,
John, we need you to frost your
That's
tips
fine.
for
John
the
would
wedding.
love that.
Yeah.
If actually, if he's like, I don't have to do anything at the wedding now.
I can just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to check this place out, you can check it out at their brand new location, just minutes down the road from where they are currently located, in Poway.
I like that.
Did I say Alpine? I meant Poway.
You said Alpine.
You said Alpine.
Alpine Poway.
Same place.
Right.
And last but not least, if you haven't already, go watch the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. It's the greatest thing ever. This movie will be amazing. And John,
You were
missed
talking
out.
about something about a portal. I'm like, what's this have to do with like
Doctor
transfer?
Strange portal, bro.
Okay. We are back tomorrow at 3 p.m. By the way, Thursday, catch first round NFL draft action right here on San Diego Sports 760, beginning at 5 p.m. You can hear the first round of the NFL draft. Tonight, you can hear Lakers basketball game 2 against the Nuggets. Pregame coverage at 6:45. Tip-off just after 7. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us at Social Jon and Jim, JONANDJIF for Brent and Jim. I'm John here at San Diego Sports 760.
He's up by.
Okay.